Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Check on the mics. Can everyone hear me? No? It's on. We're green light. We're ready. We're just going to work on upstairs. Hey, everybody, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
What's today? Is today Saturday? Yeah. Appreciate y'all. We want to get the mics going because we're going to live stream. But let me get 2 seconds. Who's been in this room before? Oh, very few. I thought we'd have some veterans. All right. Who's been in the the TLC?
TCL.
TCL, the Mans Chinese Theater. All right. Welcome back. I'm Jabari, everybody. They're like, who is this dude? I'm Jabari. I'm a former actor, so I feel like I'm at home in this world. I'm now in marketing. I run an ad agency called AKQA. Brands right now are heavily involved in the film industry. I don't know if anybody saw what Chick-fil-A is doing, but I am a partner now with our friends on the panel. So I can't wait to introduce you. But since we're going to be on time, let's go without the mics.
Yes.
I don't even know why I'm holding this mic.
You're going to turn it up. It's on. But
Oh, it just came on?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Yeah? Okay, I hope you didn't hear that too much. All right, everybody, thank you for coming. Usually this is reserved for indie night. Tonight we're doing something really, really special. We wanted to bring together some industry veterans. Hopefully you know some of their names, and we're gonna have a conversation about the industry. There's a lot of change going on, a lot of things happening, and I think we need to dig into it. We're gonna have a little bit of a conversation, and then we're gonna open it up for you all to ask questions. So make sure you're writing down your questions. I want to get you guys involved. We're going to have plenty of time for you guys to get involved. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the dopest panelists that I've ever seen. This is my first time doing a panel. Let's start with amazing producer, writer, content creator, Mr. Caligiuri. A lot of people know Patrick for his work, but we're going to get into it. Next, I would like to introduce, I hear myself. Next, I would like to introduce industry vet, also founder of Indie Night. If you've been here before, you know him. Please give it up for Dave Brown. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm excited for that. And then my friend, Share CEO, co-founder, writer, producer, 20-year veteran, Erin Norman. Please give it up. Yeah, you go over there. Okay. If I gotta walk a little further, then I'm gonna fall down. All right. Patrick.
Yes. Oh, that one really works. How you doing?
First, I'd like to know how you guys got together. You guys have been doing a lot of random things. How do you all know each other? Tell me, please, how you guys got together.
That's a funny story. Erin reached out to me, I want to say late spring, and was like, hey, I'm creating an app, and I really love what you're doing and what you're saying online. And I was completely blew her off. I was just like, you know what, I'm sorry, but I worked with a startup 2 years ago. We actually live up in San Jose. We live in Silicon Valley now, and I was just like, I just can't do another Elizabeth Holmes or anything like that.
But he let me down easy.
I did.
He's very nice, yeah.
But I admired Erin's tenacity, and she kept reaching out. She's like, no, I have something that I think you would really be impressed with, and something that I think you would be a big supporter of. The industry is changing, you know that. You want to be part of that change. You want to kind of upset the mainstream of how everything's been going, and I think many people here in this audience are industry people. Is that correct? Yeah. I'm going to do the YMCA camp counselor thing and be like, is that correct? Yeah. So the reason we're all here is because we want to see the change and we want to be part of the change, and we know that the traditional way of the film and entertainment industry is not just going to be the status quo moving forward, but we want to know what is the future. And I think a lot of this is taking the future into our own hands. And Erin presented this platform to me, and once I actually saw it, I was blown away with it. And I said, that's exactly the direction we should be heading.
And I have to say, I'm not really big on social media. Is my
This
mic
one
not working?
works.
It's turned off.
This one works. We can play it past the mic.
It turned off.
Oh.
Did it work now? No?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Now we hear you.
Not big on social, over here, because I'm already a loud talker. And my sister kept telling me, like, there's this guy on TikTok, and he's saying everything you're saying about the industry. He's literally, every time I have a conversation with you, the next day, he's saying the same thing. So I found him. I got a Rocket Reach membership, and I was like, I gotta find him, because I gotta build the community, and his finger is on the pulse. So then, yeah, I reached out to him, but I gotta thank my sister Ivy, because I wouldn't have known, because I'm kind of out of the loop, but everything he was saying was in alignment with our mission and goal for Share, so.
Shout out to Ivy and TikTok.
Yeah.
Mr. Dave Brown.
Yes.
Sorry, we can just pass. I'll talk loudly.
We'll show on.
There you go. Mr. Dave Brown.
Yes.
You've been in the industry for a while. You've seen it from all angles.
Oh,
You started Indie Night.
yes.
Why is it so important for you to support independent filmmakers, independent films, and the entire industry?
Well, I think it's taking back what's rightfully ours, and that's the art, creativity, and, we as filmmakers want to own our stuff, want to be able to say we can license our product off to a certain platform, which we weren't able to do back in the days with studios. You had an idea, you brought it to the studio said, we like it, we'll do it, and then all of a sudden they say, we own it. And so what I started thinking about independent filmmakers, I was a film major at Morehouse College in Atlanta, and, we all had to do a short film before we graduated. That was like our project. And so what I said was, what do you do after? What do we do with those films afterwards? They just sit on the shelf. I said, so why not just give everybody an opportunity to showcase these films? My motto is, why should you have to wait once a year to be seen and miss all this work in between? And we know in the industry, they always come up to you and they say, hey, what's the last thing you've done? You said, I did a movie 2 weeks ago, but it won't come out till next year. Believe it or not, when I started Indie Night, which is the first weekly film festival in the world, they told me I would never last. I said, why you say that? They said, because you'll never have enough films. I said, are you kidding me? I said, there's a lot of films that are being made out there, they don't have a platform to show them. And so I said, if you give everybody an opportunity to show their art, and I'm a weekly film festival, then you have a lot more going and a lot more films out there being looked at. So now give it up, 13 years. 13 years of doing this, And when they tell you can't do something, always remember this. They say that you won't ever work because they love your ideal. And that's when,
Wait, can you repeat that?
I said, when they tell you that it will never work, that's because they love your ideal. And they want to do it. They want to steal it. This business is all about, you gotta hush, keep your stuff, quiet, because they will take your ideal and run with it. So don't let nobody tell you it won't work. You go do it, and I had to show it, and now I'm 13 years here in, and doing it to another level. But, which your first question was,
Yes.
working with Erin. Erin and I have known each other for a long time. She's from the Bay Area, I'm from the Bay Area as well. We're brothers and sisters, and we did a movie called The Warning, and that was our first, project, independent project.
Extra low budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250K, DGA SAG, we shot it here. That is kind of how we thought about distribution. Thank you. Would Share, because we finished the movie and we were in post-production for a while, and then when we came out of post-production, we were excited to take the project and do like national small theaters and streaming, and then this crazy tiny little thing called COVID came through.
Yeah.
And all the plans we had just like went out the window. So we were like, well, we could put it on YouTube. And then there's a whole way of monetizing, and it just really highlighted to us like what is going on with this industry. And that was years ago. But then after the historic strikes last year, we started to have deeper conversations about how we need to change this, and like, we really need to revolutionize the industry. It's not gonna work. It's not working.
It's not.
It actually hasn't worked for independent filmmakers for decades. It just is not working, so.
So it hasn't been working for a while. You guys have been trying to do things within the industry. What made you decide to do something about it versus just talk shit?
There's kids in the room.
Talk mess.
They're mine. It's not any words they haven't heard before.
Being broke. Literally, I love filmmaking since I was a kid. I watched movies after movies. I mean, I miss the days where we could go see like Shawshank Redemption and Boomerang and Good Will Hunting, and I've been writing and trying to break into this industry, and just every time, and with all the people we know, I mean, I've worked a lot and I got in some pretty big doors, but every time it was like, well, who's attached? How much money? And it was like, what is going on? Like, we have original content. We can talk about, you know, we can actually have conversations about new talent and new ideas. And so after just the struggle and the struggle with my community, and Patrick could speak on that. Like,
I mean, I'll piggyback on that, and I think just the industry itself has lost its way in terms of who's running the industry. We've seen tech take over. We no longer have executives at these studios that love the art form. You know, I think the tech people, they don't take arts and humanities classes. They just take computer engineering, and they don't understand the product that they're trying to make. And you know, just like last week, I heard they announced, oh, we're making Days of Thunder 2. And I'm like, who asked for that? I was like, outside of the only two people I could think who want Days of Thunder 2 are Tom Cruise and whoever greenlit the film. And the rest of us are like, but still, think of all the thousands of scripts and screenplays and original stories that got passed up for that movie. And that's everything that they're going to be betting on. And these bets aren't sure bets anymore. And I think Joker 2 is a perfect example of that. You know, they're taking big swings with $200 million features, but no one's taking a swing with a $10 million film anymore. Just like, and to your point, Erin, back in the 90s, I was at the movie theater every Friday night.
Yep.
You know, and there would be 10 choices if I wanted to see a thriller or a comedy, and I loved going to the movie theaters. I loved being with my friends, and I feel that connection, the fact that we're all here sitting in a movie theater, we feel it, we just love laughing together, and that desire to get back into the movie theater. But the thing is, the product that is coming out is not coming out as frequently, and you're not giving the audience what they want, because the people who are running the industry doesn't know what the audience wants anymore.
Ooh, Patrick is talking the truth. Hey, you saw what happened to United Healthcare CEO. You better. Sorry.
Too soon. No.
What?
I don't have a company.
What made you pick up a mic and just, you're known for your no holds barred, just tell it like it is approach to content? Like, what made you pick up a camera and just start creating content and just telling?
I thought my career was done, man. I still think it is to a degree. I mean, my old career I don't want to say my career is done, but I thought, you know what's interesting about this entire process over the last 2 years, and I started realizing this maybe about by the end of 2023, is that I was actually grieving. And I don't think, and actually somebody in the audience here, Will, I'll shout out to you. He told me we had a great discussion about this, that, you know, you were taught in your life to mourn your family members that you lose, to lose good friends, but no one ever tells you that you could ever mourn your career. And I thought that was a very profound thing to say, because from the earliest age of age 9, and I grew up outside of Orlando, so when I was 9, like Disney MGM Studios opened, Universal Studios, I thought Orlando was going to be the hot mecca. So anybody who wants to talk about Atlanta or Albuquerque, look what happened to Orlando. But at that time, I was so impressed, and I begged my dad at age 10, can I please have a camcorder? Please, please, anything for the VHS thing. And I had 2 VCRs to edit movies together, and it was something I always wanted to do, and I went to college for it. And you think of like the youth now and the access that they have to technology, I would have given an appendage to have what they have now. But then all of a sudden I'm in it, and I come out to LA and unscripted TV is booming, and I got on the show Amazing Race, and I'm traveling the world, and I'm storytelling, and this is the greatest job in the world. And I would talk to other friends. It's like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm in accounting. And I'm like, oh, that's great. How's that going? They're like, it's accounting. And I'm like, okay. I did a rappel down Mandalay Bay. Testing a rope. And it was just amazing. And I had this fun career. And then all of a sudden, just boom, the faucet dried up. And for such a long time, for the first year, I started realizing that I'm going through a depression. And then I'm angry. And then all of a sudden, I'm sad. And these are the same stages of grief. And I was actually mourning my lost career, and I was getting desperate, like so many of the people in this room had, and like, please, just anything. And I realized I was begging for scraps of my old job, and I'm like, this isn't the way forward. This is only going backwards. And it was finally I worked on a project over the summer. I was very lucky. But again, took a 40% dock and pay, took 2 steps back in show title, and I realized that was when I hit my acceptance of, I don't want to do this anymore. And I love what I do, but I don't want to do this. This is not the position to be in. The position should be looking forward to the future. This industry is evolving, and we've been at a point in our careers where we didn't see that evolution, but Hollywood's been evolving for the last century. We've seen silent films go to talking films, to color, and then we've seen radio get completely destroyed by television. And we haven't had any type of shakeup in our industry since cable television, and that was in the early 80s. But since then, everything's been status quo for 40 years. And now there's another shakeup happening. But the good news is, where there's chaos, there's opportunity. Yes. And that is where it's time for the creatives, the people that are the true storytellers, to step up and say, you're right, it's time to take our industry back.
Hey.
Absolutely.
I also think that being in this business, you always hear this one word all the time. No, 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 no. No matter if you're a writer, if you're an actor, if you're a director. But I always preach and say, hey, no means next opportunity. We all do this thing where we always want to network up, where we want to get to where everybody else is, but we don't network across. So this is what I'm saying is right here. We come across and say, hey, how can we change what the worst strike ever in the history of the game? People lost their homes. People lost their cars. People were homeless. You know what I'm saying? And it really hit hard. It really hit hard. And so when you can think about how we can bring back the structure, as we always say, what, Hollywood 2.0? Because whether you like it or not, there's a reset button on Hollywood. It's a reset button, but it's going to be for us as independent artists to take back what's rightfully ours, and that's creating art. So when you bring all this together, you bring shares, you bring Indie Night Film Festival. This is what it's all about. It's giving everybody the opportunity to create and show your art.
I love that. Dave, talk to me. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the one thing also, that I loved about, talking about coming together is also we've been in an industry where I feel like we've all been set up to be competitive with one another. Right. That, your failure, it leads to my success. And that's been a mentality, I think, ever since I joined as a PA, is that, I'm waiting for you to trip and fall, and that's where I'm going to jump in. And I think that's also, going back to your original question about that fear of why doesn't anybody speak out, that's the fear, is once I'm out, once I'm ostracized, once I'm blacklisted, the fear of the blacklist, which is in the history of Hollywood, then I'm done. And I don't want to be out of the club. But, the thing is, we're stronger together as a community.
Just create another club.
create another club.
It's called
You're in the
Share.
club. Yeah,
It's called
Share.
Share.
It's called Share.
Let's talk about what you all are doing. We'll start with Dave. You're taking Indie Night to the next level.
Right.
The good friend Morris Chestnut. Tell us what's next for Indie Night.
So, like I said, I've been doing Indie Night for 13 years now, and then I was just thinking, I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's like, I'm gonna take Indie Night on the road, and I'm gonna do all these different cities. So I'm gonna do Miami, Atlanta, DC, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, Houston, and
Start from the beginning. Everyone was not clear about what Indie Night was from the beginning. So why don't you start from what is Indie Night and then where is it?
okay, Indie Night is the first weekly film festival in the world. And what I do is I show short films, web series, trailers, documentaries, and full features, giving everybody an opportunity to have the platform to, I always say, the common goal is to get to the big screen, so why not start on the big screen? And when you can see your work and see what how it resonates with you, when you see your work on the screen, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get back in the lab. And like I said, a lot of people don't wanna wait a whole year to do work and then wait for a year to put it on the screen. We want to do work because we work so hard on doing these films. We want to get it up. We want to be seen so we can get to doing the next one. So here at Indie Night, we try to give everybody an opportunity to have a platform where you can show your work. And so now, like I said, I'm taking it on the road. I'm doing it in all those different cities. And I started doing it a year ago. I did Atlanta, had Morris Chestnut hosted, packed it out. And whatever it is people become celebrities in their own cities. And then what I do is I take the great films and I bring them back here and show them at the Chinese theater. So I'm the American Idol for films. Okay? And you think about it, when you were on American Idol, you didn't go on American Idol and perform and then not try to shop you to a label. They will do the same thing here. They will bring their films here, I bring it back here, and then what I do is I stay attached to the films, and what I would do is I would see if I can get it at Netflix, at Amazon, at whatever platform we can get it onto, but then we're producing the film together. Because at the end of the day, you can't just be dropped in Hollywood and say, I got a script, or I'm an actor, or I'm a director, and I'm gonna do a film. That doesn't happen. So it's been the ability, giving everybody the opportunity to get into Hollywood and be that bridge for everybody to get into Hollywood. And so I did Atlanta, it was packed, and then we went down into the strike. Now we all had to shut down. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna respect the fact because we're all, I'm an actor and we're all in this game, so we have to respect, what the union says. So then we finally, the longest strike ever, we finally get back up, and then we go do San Francisco, and it was packed, and now I'm moving on to the next city, which is gonna do Dallas, but it's gonna be a tour, just gonna go all the way around, giving all these opportunities for all the writers, directors, actors, and producers, so they can have that bridge to get in Hollywood.
Love that. Give it up.
And this was one of the reasons why, Dave and I have worked together for years, but we've actually been in pitch meetings at Sony and Relativity. We've had projects here, and that word no. This person's yeah, it's all a hype, and then it's like, well, we pitched horror films years ago, maybe, I don't even know how long ago, and we had people asking us, but do black people really watch horror? What? And then here comes Jordan Peele, a couple years later. But, being a part of Indie Night and seeing what they were doing, it was like, once we had the idea for Share, and we actually thought about it, Leonardo and I had the idea, we need to do something. And I just kept hitting him over the head, no, we need to do something, and people should all be able to profit share. It sucks, why is it only top of the line? Everyone could do this, we gotta change the industry. And he's like, yeah, but how are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it, we're gonna figure it out. So I literally started calling and talking to all of my immediate community, including Jabari and our other co-founder, Rachel. And the first thing she said was oh, hell yeah, this is amazing. I would talk to so many friends. I told Dave, and literally I tell Dave, and in our promo video, which you'll see, we have Zendaya in there. The next week, he has me in a meeting with her father, pitching Share. We don't even have a website, we have nothing, but I did try to go to the community and talk to everybody and say, hey, we're building this, we're doing this. And certain people jumped on. Shout out to my girl Sean in here. She was one of the first that was what are we doing? How do we do it? Let's get started, because like you were saying, Patrick, we need the community to build this. The problem is that we don't really like you said, stick together a lot of times. And I think people are still kind of stuck in the old ways of Hollywood, and they don't realize that, like, we're in a whole new world right now. Like, you know, I was thinking about Google has, or YouTube has 200 million content creators, right? And people are making money. My sister has a TikTok account, and she makes like thousands of dollars a month. And I'm like, how
does she do it?
Yeah, her,
You don't want to know.
Whoa.
I should say 1,000. We'll put like around there. But she's doing it, and it's like, you know what? How come that can't apply to filmmaking? And one of the things that I thought that really have to change in this industry are the rules. I'm so sick and tired of like rules. I had a meeting with someone who, she does Sundance and Tribeca, and you know, and I was like, well, I think filmmakers should be able to monetize short films. Oh, no. The short film is your calling card. Yeah, but people gotta eat. So when they make a short film, like look at YouTube, look at the content on YouTube and TikTok. Why can't people monetize that so that they could stay working in the industry and keep building? Like, why is it this whole, your big break in Hollywood, go and starve and take 10 years and do whatever and build, and then hopefully one day you get in there? Like, screw that. Like, why can't we start right now? Like, this might not have worked, this wouldn't have worked 10 years ago because of technology. But today, we have the technology today. And if we all come together and support, you know, each other, like, we could help get our films distributed on these platforms, watching it so people make the money they need to make, and also help get it funded, excuse me, like WeFunder, Start Engine, like now with new laws with the SEC, there's new platforms that help you do equity crowdfunding. So no longer are you saying to people, hey, go to my, you know, Kickstarter and donate and get, you know, a DVD. It's like, actually, you like comic books? It's a dope-ass movie right here. Invest. Like, let's all start making money, too. Let's be the investors. We're doing it with Share. We're starting a campaign where we're telling people, you guys can own a piece of the company. Because I don't think anybody in here owns a piece of Universal, Fox Searchlight. If you do, raise
I
your hand.
had Warner Brothers stock, but
Well. But I'm saying, like, we have to think in that way. As we build something new, we have to think about it in that way. So.
But let's talk about building something new. Should we run a video to
Yeah,
let people know
actually,
what Share is?
why don't we play the promos, and we have Patrick has a project he wants to play too, but we'll start with the promos, and then we'll let him tell you about the project, and then play the teaser. So
Beautiful.
we could go ahead and start the videos.
You start the video, please.
This will tell you a little bit about Indie Night and Share.
And then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Yeah. Patrick is a performer. Introducing.
Tell him to start to.
5 more minutes? Well, actually, you know what? I could riff on what you said, Erin, for 5 minutes because, you know, God has given me the gift of gab. And
That's why we met, because we are very much alike.
and there won't be any oxygen left in this room when I'm done. But one thing you said about, you know, a short film being a short film is I think we also have been in an industry where there's always been rules. And a film is 90 minutes to 2 hours, or 3 hours if you're Scorsese. Or a television show has to be 22 minutes, or it has to be, you know, 46 minutes, and the commercials need to be this. But there's no rules anymore. I don't think there's rules anymore. I think, you know, a lot of people are talking about short films. I'm like, I don't even think there's short films anymore. A film is a film. And especially with people's attention spans shrinking, there's 2 types of viewing now, and I don't think people realize there's 2 types of modes that we're physically in when we watch. Like there's casual focus, which is I got 20 minutes, I'm waiting for a train, I'm waiting at the airport, I'm gonna scroll, I'm at the doctor's office, and maybe I'll watch, you know, some minute-to-minute content. And then the second is that fully focused, I'm going to make popcorn, I'm gonna make a meal for myself, I'm gonna climb in bed, I'm gonna get on the sofa, and I am going to watch the thing that I want to watch. I'm setting time away from it, right? And I don't think people I think or at least the industry, is still seeing it as one type of viewership, but it's really two. And really, sort of the future, the economics is going to be focus and attention time, and what type of category that each of those falls into.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank
All right.
you.
Let's. Thank you, Patrick, for filling that. 5 minutes. Let's run the video.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's run it. Hey, how you doing? I'm Dave Brown, founder of Indie Night Film Festival. I want to say welcome to our 12th season here at the TCL Chinese Theater. We want to thank everybody for supporting us for so long. And no, I'm going to tell you, Indie Night is the only weekly film festival in the world where you can enjoy short films, web series, trailers, documentaries, and full features. So what I want you to do is sit back, relax, and let us show you what we've been doing for the past couple of years here at Indie Night Film Festival. Come on, let's go. I say this thing, in Hollywood you hear this word all the time, just no. No means next opportunity. And that's what we have to take in mind and just understand that, just because you don't get picked doesn't mean that you give up. Yeah. You keep going because it's all about the right person seeing you and respecting you. You gotta believe in yourself and everything goes from there.
Whatever you do, you can be in this room and get your next gig.
Hey, what's up? This is Caligiuri. I just came out in the
It's 5 hours away. I'm driving to support it. That's how much I believe in this vision.
And sometimes, if it ain't your season, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna succeed.
Thanks, Dave Brown, for even establishing such an event.
This is DJ Q Nice, the host of Indie Night Film Festival. Listen, we have so many wonderful films that are here today. I can't wait for you to see them. Why wait once a year to be seen and miss all of this work in between? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Indie Night.
I always turn it back. I always get back. Am I right, Q? That's your favorite artist?
I'm a huge fan of Indie Night. I've seen some amazing short films.
Get a movie made, and it takes a whole year to get it out and everything like this. Here, we got new talent every week.
You want to just, always present yourself as a professional and work hard.
When I come to Indie Night, I just leave myself open to be pleasantly surprised. I'm always looking for new talent in front of and behind the camera. So I'm looking for someone to catch my attention, so I can then ideally work with one day.
You have to say that's a memory that you'll never ever forget.
Distributed by the people who are responsible for the content, not the folks who make the deals for the content, the folks who actually make it. Like minds are going to have to come down and be equitable.
4 months after their strike ended, Hollywood actors are still struggling to recover.
The fact that the entertainment industry is falling, bitch, the house is on fire, okay? Everyone is fleeing for their lives.
The entertainment industry is seriously broken. I'm a former editor. I am definitely financially struggling. I may lose my house.
Getting paid a fraction of the cost. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't math.
Hi, I'm Erin Norman.
And I'm Leonardo Leon.
And we're the co-founders of Share. Share is a global platform that connects filmmakers from all over the world, giving them an opportunity to network, collaborate, but most importantly, profit share in the projects they work on. The current structure of the entertainment industry is broken, with actors, writers, and crew members in general struggling to make a living wage or find any work at all. As frustrated filmmakers ourselves, we know how hard it is to pursue a career in the film industry while also making a decent living. So we decided to do something about it. We believe that everyone who participates in the creation of a film should share in its success. Not just the studio execs with corporate interest or the crew above the line, everyone. For too long, the artists that actually create the movie magic have gotten the short end of the stick, receiving little to no equity in the projects they create. The Share platform gives filmmakers an opportunity to bring their amazing stories to life. And here's how it works. Filmmakers from anywhere in the world can join Share for free and immediately connect with other filmmakers in their area. They create a profile and add what skills they have, plus see what other filmmakers are close by. Once filmmakers find the project they're interested in, or list the project they've created, they can find their crew and begin to collaborate on projects. Whether there's a budget or not, filmmakers can negotiate their time and skills for back-end points on any project that they work on. After completion, the team will send their project to Share, where it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, and filmmakers will immediately have the opportunity to profit from the views and downloads that their video generates. And the Share model has already been proven to work. For instance, in 2020, actors Zendaya and John David Washington produced and starred in the film Malcolm and Marie. Zendaya and John David decided to share in their profits of the film, giving every crew member at least 1% equity in the project. What happened next was incredible. Netflix bought the film for over $30 million and crew members cashed in. Even the ones that only had 1% equity in the film walked away with at least $300,000.
I think the model has to change. And just recently, like me and my partners, we produced a film called Sing Sing. Yes. It premiered at TIFF. And we kept the budget very low. And when I tell you, we kept it very low, but we made sure it was equitable for everyone.
That's right.
Every single person had a point.
That's what we did.
Above the line, below the line.
Yep.
We sold it to A24, and we're selling it internationally. And it's like, everyone feels a part of this.
Yeah.
So we keep it low, but it makes it equitable for everyone, so everyone rises.
What these actors did is unheard of in the film industry. Usually back-end points only go to directors, movie stars, and top producers, with crew members only getting paid for the work they do during production. Share is changing the way profit sharing is done, giving filmmakers the opportunity to make money on the projects they work on until the end of time. We provide AI tools, marketing services, instant and direct connections with other creatives, equity crowdfunding opportunities, and profit-sharing tools. Our innovative platform is set to transform the entertainment industry by empowering filmmakers globally. We hope you join our Share community so we could revolutionize filmmaking together.
In a project, they work harder. So it's also like a built-in marketing machine, because when the movie's over, now everybody that's a part of it that gets, a stock in the project, they're telling grandma and their cousins. It's like you now have a lot more people supporting your project. So that's the idea. We share our ideas, we share in the creation, and then we all share in the profits, regardless of your experience level. If you work on the project, you get something,
I love that.
Yeah.
What got you excited about Share initially, Patrick?
I think, Erin hit the point of fairness. Unscripted, we're sort of the lower end of the totem pole, the redheaded stepchild of the entertainment industry. And it's funny because a lot of people misconstrue producer, especially with unscripted producers, that we, live in Malibu with infinity pools. But no, it's like, I got my one-bedroom studio apartment in Van Nuys. But
right.
it's we were part of the crew,
Nothing wrong with Van Nuys.
Nothing wrong with Van Nuys. All got to start somewhere. But I had always been part of the crew, and I've always been in the trenches with the crew, and I've always felt, you know, and I've always sort of suffered, I guess, you know, I don't want to ever say like we're war buddies, but like we've all kind of went through the grinder together, you know, and then we come out, and to Erin's point, it's like, okay, and I made enough money to get me to the next project. And it's like you just watch your bank account go up, and then you just watch it go back down, and then it's like, oh, I'm making more money again to, you know, get me to the next gig. And I remember I even once had a call with my agent like 5 years ago, and I told him flat out, I said, this is not sustainable. Like, how am I ever supposed to, you know, freelancing is hard enough as it is. How am I ever supposed to build equity for myself or my family? Or how, as much as this is a fun job, and I love this job, the trade-off shouldn't be that I can never financially profit from it.
Yes. Give it up. Dave, what were your first thoughts when you heard about Share?
I think just to know that we all invest in stock. So what if we invest the actors that we, you know, that we love? And being that investing in them and getting this in return, you have more people talking about the film. You have more people promoting the film because they have something invested in. You know, and it's just looking at knowing that you can get something done. You know, when I think about all these things, having a place where you can grab a community and build something that you own is one of the priceless things I believe in this business is that we can have. And so when you see all those things, and then you think about the fact that when you really think about those A-list actors that are working, when they're dealing with the studios, but they have projects that they wanted to do all their life, but then the studio says, hold on a second, we'll get back to you. Because they got films lined up that they want to do. And then you go, wait, man, am I ever going to get my project off the ground?
Days of Thunder 2.
You know? You know? And so when you know that you can get those films done that you really want to do, how'd I say, step down off the mountain and get an independent project that you want to do and have all those people invest in, that's a great, come on.
Also, I want to add to that, I also think like expectation is really high. I think like people, you know, they see, oh, all the Friends, you know, cast and they made $1 million an episode and everyone is gonna go. I had someone actually tell me in a meeting a couple months ago, you're telling people they can make $1 million off a short film. I said, no, I'm just saying that if they're on Share and if they do 4 films and 4 or 5 films and maybe they generate $800 a month, that's still something. That's still money coming in. If you got 6 different short films or any type of projects, and let's just say they're on YouTube and Vimeo, they're on all these platforms, and $800, yeah, $4,800, of course, at my age, it's not a lot of money. I can't, but when I was starting off and I was just getting started, like that's something. That's not you needing to go and drive Uber or eat top ramen while you wait for the phone to ring. There needs to be something there. So we will, you know, we all aspire to be millionaires, but in the meantime, we need to just work and just bring something in to sustain and, you know, be able to survive out here. And I kind of feel like people want to skip that part. And that's the magic. That's actually where you meet your community, you build. And
what's so funny is that also people who do not or are not a part of our industry, they have a complete misunderstanding of how films and television shows get made. And to your point, is like everybody does think we're millionaires, and that we all have infinity pool. And I'm so glad that your industry is crashing because you don't know what it's like to be, you know, part of the blue collar. So it's like, oh, buddy, you know. I think we know.
Any millionaires in here? Any millionaires? No. Okay.
But it's that fact that we need to also sort of part of what my platform is doing is to try to explain to people outside that there's so many people involved with making a television show or making a film that can go completely unrecognized and have always gone unrecognized. And we're now in an age where we should recognize that. And it shouldn't be the producer at the studio that has never once picked up a camera or written a script who maybe sent out about 3 emails to say, I'm gonna get 5% of the film's gross profits. That's just wrong. And there's so many people that break their back, and I know many people here have spent time on set, hours even, been to a point of probably sleeping delusion, and that. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Well, you know what? When you talked about like Robert Evans, it's like when you think about those producers in the past who actually love filmmaking. They were really, like he told Francis Ford Coppola, like, no, go make Godfather. If you need to make it 3 hours, fine, go do it. Like, I want to see the masterpiece. Now it's former, you know, Coca-Cola corporate executives that are in these, you know, positions in our industry, and not all of them, but I'm just saying, and they're just looking at the bottom line and the money. And so, you know, when you, if that's all you're looking at, you're gonna make Days of Thunder 2 and another Ghost and another Officer and a Gentleman, and this is real shit, real stuff.
And
Sorry.
another-
like
and-
that's happening right now. Like, I can't believe it when I see the headlines. I'm like, what? But to your point, you know, the thing about Hollywood is that they don't, it has to be proven first.
Yes.
It's like, you know, really, yeah, like no one really wants to take the risk, but then when it happens, it's like, oh my gosh,
everybody wants to do it.
$300,000 movie made $300 million.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're trying to do all of that. And so we, as the creators, we actually have the magic. Like, we own the magic sauce.
And
So,
we're not
like,
risk averse either.
Yeah,
Like we're not like playing it safe. We want to do stuff that's daring, that's bold, that hasn't
Oh,
been
we
done
do.
before.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we get handcuffed. And like to your point earlier, like a show like Cheers could never exist in our ecosystem. Cheers had a horrible first season.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the VP at NBC who championed the show and said, no, let it find its audience.
Yeah.
And then it became one of the greatest, you know, television series of American history. So the fact is we don't have the people that believe in it, but we believe in it, you believe in it, you believe in it.
I believe in it.
Okay, I was going to say, the jury's still out on you. And I think everybody in here believes in it. Like,
Yeah.
we you know, if you have we all have this intuition and a gut where you're just like, if you just give me a chance, and that's all you're asking for is that chance. If I can get it, if I could get my project and I could get some person to view it and appreciate it, then they tell two friends and they tell two friends, and it's true. It's just we're not let. Creatives right now are not being given permission to explore and create.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the frustration is boiling over at this point.
Ooh, but I heard that you are brave enough to explore and to create new ideas. Is this true?
Flattery will get you everywhere, sir.
Did I hear
Yes,
you're working on a new project
I
that
am
will be
working on a
launching on Share?
project, and it's funny that I have a project that I, well, when I was first talking to Erin, she's like, so what you got? And I'm like, well, okay, well, let me open up that folder on my computer that's been collecting dust of every project that's been rejected over the past 15 years. And, you know, I'll show some of these ideas, and these are either shows or films or projects that I've tried to get through doors, and everybody's like, yeah, I just don't see it, but they're different. And I can't tell you, the most frustrating thing as a producer that I've seen over my career is when I have an idea for something, and I tell it to everybody, this is the next thing, I promise you. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And then 5 years later, that version of the show airs, or that movie
Yep.
airs. And I think we've all kind of felt that. We've
Yep.
been down that road before, and it's just so frustrating. I you know, this part I don't like to admit out loud, but I'm from Florida. So very early on, as a Floridian, Florida Man was huge, like in Florida, but it wasn't big anywhere else. And I was like, there's got to be a show on Florida Man. And people are like, why would we want to watch a show about some guy from Florida? I'm like, you don't know Florida Man, because he is his own show. And that was 10 years ago, and now there's a Florida Man on Netflix.
Just saw
And
that.
wait, but really,
And it's amazing.
And it's
Yeah.
amazing.
really quick, before we go into that, I just wanted to say, when Patrick, when you were saying like we're all asking for that opportunity, and it's like, come on, pick me, like pick my project. We've been there. I've been in, man, you don't know how many times I thought I made it. Yeah, and it didn't happen. But with Share, one of the things that we want to say is like, we're not asking anymore. Like, we're taking it now. This is ours. Like, we're not gonna come and say, oh, like us. Hey, fans, you guys like horror? You guys wanna make money? You go spend all this money all year at AMC, invest in a project. Now there's WeFunder, there's Start Engine. Like, let's pay these creators and we all make money. Like, this is creating our own economy.
And if there was ever a time to do it, it's now, because the industry right now, outside of Netflix, the other studios are dazed and hit, and it's now is the opportunity. If you're going to have a chance to strike, this is it.
And also, too, when we talk numbers, one of the things that share our promise, one of the things that was really important to us is to give back to filmmakers. So as we grow, you grow. That's the promise. We hear it here. It'll be on the website. You'll see. So, like, Mandy Network has like 3.3 million subscribers, right? And they charge like $14.99. So they make like $49 million a month. Okay? Think about that. I think totally all in my junk folder, right?
That's fair.
Very fair. But these tech companies and IMDb, which is great, is information, but none of them give back to our community. Not one single platform gives back. So we're like, talking to my team, it's like, we need to be our own kind of studio system. Like, why don't we do something? Like, every time we hit a milestone, we give money back. But the kicker, we're not gonna decide what projects get greenlit, because then we'd be just like a studio system. Let America, let fans, let audience, let the community decide. So when you put your project on the platform and you're like, hey, I got this horror film, it's about this little boy, it's blah, 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 whatever. If there's fans and people that wanna invest, now you tell all your friends and family, join and vote for my project, because share this quarter, they're giving out. We're doing quarterly investments. This quarter, we're looking for a horror feature, political documentary, animated short, whatever. Everyone submits. At the end of the deadline, whatever projects have the most votes gets the funding for their project, and everybody shares. Like, the filmmakers get paid to work on the project, and then everyone shares in the profits afterwards. But that's really giving the audience what they want to see too. So it works for everybody, and the fans that want to invest make money, the crew, it works.
That's dope. You want to say something?
You know, I like all the filmmakers that come through Indie Night, I always talk to them about, especially like you got your writers, you got your actors. And I say, sometimes the actors feel like they're going to act until they sizzle out. And then what do? I tell people, I say, no. You got to learn how to write. Learn how to want to produce. I said, because at the end of the day, we do get older. Jobs start to slow down. They're not going to come. You got to start creating your own thing. So I said, don't just get stuck on just being an actor, learn lines. I said, learn how to produce, learn how to write, learn how to create something that you can call your own. And then I told them, I remember the first day that I showed shares in Indie Night, everybody was like, yes, we finally can make money. I don't know about all you actors who are here. Y'all remember when y'all were actors and y'all got residual checks? They came in big, right?
Any actors in here? Raise your hand.
It came in big.
All right.
The next thing you know, regardless.
Don't be shy, you're an actor.
Those checks were like, what, $20,000, and they went down, they go down, they keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. But at the end of the day, you said $800. I don't know, nobody that wanted to come in the house and get a check for $800 every time. It's needed. And a lot of people, I've had a lot of actors and everybody in the industry say that strike really struck a chord.
So when does Share launch? When can we get a piece of it?
So, that part. We were actually going to launch today, and my co-founders, Rachel, Leo, and I were up very late with developers. We've been testing, our beta testers have been out there, and we saw a couple of things that we were like, oh, can you just tighten this, but they are overseas. So within days, we're launching. But we do ask everyone to, the site is incredible. We're really excited. We've been working on this for over a year, and we're gonna keep building it out. And I don't know if you guys remember what Uber's website or Airbnb looked like when they first launched, but keep that in mind. We're starting.
Prodigy.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm not gonna, I'm not trying to poop on my own, parade. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna give you the functionality to sign up, create a profile, add a project, but just so you know, we've been bootstrapping this ourselves. We just did a friends and family round where we had investments come in that helped us get through development, but this is not VC money. This is not a studio. This is filmmakers like yourselves that have been really trying to do something, because this platform is for me. It's like, I want to build this and change something because I feel like I just love filmmaking, I love our community, and I think this is the time to make something happen. So we're rolling out in the next couple days. We have QR codes outside, so please scan it and put your email address, like join our newsletter. And in the next few days, hopefully, we're gonna tweak things. We'll send you the link and everybody could join then, and just join. It's free to join. You could join and see who's around you, and I mean, this is the beginning. Pretty much everyone in this room, you guys are the first people that will actually get the link. We're gonna do our little soft launch and then, you know, hit the masses. But I say join and see what's around. The moment that you wanna participate in profit sharing, it is $9.99 a month. And that's where you could submit yourself to projects. You could build your project to find your crew. We tried to keep it as low as possible compared to the LinkedIns, the IMDb, because we know everybody's, you know, struggling a little bit, but we also need to pay tech and we also need maintenance and stuff like that. So yeah, few days.
Few days.
Few
Awesome.
days. We
And
are
you
there.
have a really dope project. There's a few projects that are launching on the site, and there's
yeah.
one that
So,
particular.
we have one project that we're really excited about that has never been done before on the big screen. It was brought to us by this gentleman here, producer Patrick, as you guys might know him. he told us this idea in one of our meetings, and I was like, oh no, we gotta do this project. This is absolutely incredible. It's unique. It's something that I think fans will wanna invest in, actors, but how about we play the video?
Let's just roll the video.
Do we have time to roll the video?
Can we roll the last video? You like that transition? And then get your questions ready. Coming out of this video, we are going to get questions.
We've all seen the movies, binged the shows, and thought to ourselves, I know exactly what I'd do if I were in this situation. But could you, if it really happened, survive a zombie apocalypse? 8 brave souls, chosen by America, will step into a reimagined world where the only task is survival and the stakes everything. For the first time in film history, real-life survivalists will drop into a horror hellscape. Infected with zombies, created by some of Hollywood's greatest special effects talent. But this isn't just a movie or a reality show. This is survival. Every decision they make, every challenge they triumph, every terror they feel, it's 100% real.
All right.
So you see,
Cool. We talk about bold.
I mean,
cool.
Who doesn't like a zombie movie one? But like, can you imagine, first of all, participants, people from around America submitting themselves to actually survive like a real, I mean, not real, but a zombie apocalypse. I'll let you speak on it. But when he told me, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
So fortunately, a few years back, I worked on a hybrid film reality show called The Quest, which was, it was the, from the reality side, it was the producers of The Amazing Race, and I worked on Amazing Race for many seasons. And from the film side, it was Mark Ordesky of Lord of the Rings. And the concept was to take 8 teenagers and drop them in this Lord of the Rings world. And they had to find out the narrative. They explored the narrative. And I was fascinated by it. And, you know, after doing the show, I was like, you know, we could only, because we had kids, they could only be on set for 6 hours at a time. So, you know, it always took them out of the element. But I said, this is something that I know. I'm like, what is it? Something that a world that I always imagined myself to be. And I think a lot of people have this weird fantasy of like, well, the zombie apocalypse, I'm going to Catalina, or, you know, somebody like, everybody's kind of thought it through in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, what if you were able to actually take real people that could react to a world that is created by some of Hollywood's greatest talent? And you've been on Sunset Boulevard on Halloween. Like, there's a lot of talent that could go into creating this very immersive world. And the idea is that, you know, the premise is that there is a small town somewhere in America, and it's been infected, and there's a lab. And the military has chosen 8 survival doomsday preppers for their knowledge and expertise. And we bring them in, and they go in with a SEAL team, and they have to live in a habitat that's provided for them, and they have to go through this. And we're gonna make this one film, and it's not been done before, and it's unique, it's bold, it's changing. But you know what? Here's the thing I've realized is people love zombies. People love The Walking Dead. People love 28 Days Later. And I think having an experience where you're seeing somebody who's not an actor react to this stuff and fully like be terrified is, and we can make them scared, trust me, it's pretty easy to do. It'll be a lot of fun to make, and I'm excited to take it. And again, I've been shopping it around. Oh, that's a cool idea, it's fantastic. You know, we're doing a wedding show. But, you know, and it's like, I think we're now at that stage where it's like, you know what, why am I waiting for all these gatekeepers to one day give me a pass? I'm tired of that. I am going to go do it myself. And with the help of Cher and the help of the community and the help of filmmakers that, you know, want to make cool stuff, this is how we do it.
Yes.
Hey.
And I told him, I got so excited because he sent me another project, and it was like, this is the project. Because one, I think too that people will want to, like, you're gonna have a built-in audience because we're gonna do a campaign telling people, submit yourself on Share. The reality show, I don't want to say characters, but actors, you know, on there, they don't share in any profits. They maybe win something, but because they're on Share, they submit themselves, and we're gonna let America vote on the best videos, and those top 8 that are picked get to experience this. And I went to Universal Studios years ago, and the theme was like Walking Dead, and it was freaking scary as all hell. It was like, what? The makeup artist, it was really great. So getting top, you know, some of the top crew people, and to create this world that's just absolutely frightening. And obviously the people aren't gonna die for real. We're gonna have to
that's the best part though. That's so I should also add, instead of there is a little bit of a reality concept. There's a little bit of challenges and stuff, but if you're eliminated on the show, instead of just being like, sorry, you know, here, you're off the show, won't walk out the door. It's no, we just give you a full-on obliteration, zombie death of being ripped apart, and let those special effects teams take over.
Oh yeah, because when he pitched it to me, it was a series, and I said to him, I was like, this is really great, but like, what about a film? Where like it's cinematic.
And
so
again,
it
it's like
look
there's rules, so we're like, oh, well, you don't do that.
I was like, there's
and it's
no
like, well, wait a
rules.
second.
Yeah.
Who says we can't do that? Let's do it.
Reality movie.
Yeah.
No one take this ideal, you hear me?
Yeah. Well, we got their email addresses.
Right. Thank you.
But
Pat,
literally, I
covered.
told
Got
him,
you
I
covered.
said, I think this is something that would be great for Share too, because it could test out our theory on, you know, fans investing, you know, because there's tons of zombie horror fans. So we could see about that, but also, you know, voting for these people for the projects they like. We get the funding to get it off the ground, and then when we do get, you know, we have some contacts at 824, places we could go and see if we can get a theatrical release. It would be so awesome to actually watch real people, but in a cinematic way. And so I told them we have to do this project. I think it's really dope. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Perfect project for Cher.
Do you guys like it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dope. All right, let's open it up for questions. Raise your hand and we will get a mic to you.
Maybe get the lights on.
As we pass it around, please give it up for our panelists. Patrick, Dave, Erin, for coming together. We got one in the,
I think I saw a hand over there. There's a couple hands.
We'll start down and move up if it's easier. Don't forget your questions. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Seth Brubaker. I'm a writer and an actor. I love what you guys are coming out with, and it aligns with how I'm seeing, things in real time. Where do you see specifically the writers and the actors' unions in all of this? Is there? It seems like we've been kind of left out on the lurch by unless you're at the very, very, very top of those lists. What's moving forward? What do you think? Is there a role for those guilds? Do they lose power? Do they just kind of concentrate it?
We're actively trying to partner with them. We've been reaching out to them to try to see how can we, make this work, because there's a lot of people that are in these unions that can't go and do certain independent, projects, and so we're at the point of people still need to make money. Partner with us. Let's figure out how we can make this work. So we are talking to SAG and the Writers Guild. We're still trying to get in on the DGA aspect of it, but we're trying to incorporate them and see how we can, figure it out and make sure that some of our projects, are inclusive of all filmmakers. But the thing too is that, we did our project and SAG, DGA, and our budget was $250K. So we also kind of want to let people know that even if you have a low budget, maybe we could try to strike some of those deals to where some of those fees could come down a little bit to help filmmakers, or I don't know, but that is a conversation we've already started to have. It's really, in their court if they're going to come and, help us and participate, but we definitely see why that is necessary.
Great question.
Copy, thanks.
All right, who else? Raise your hand
I saw
up
a hand over here.
Oh, here. Okay, wait, here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi.
sorry.
My name is Danny Stevens. I've been in the film business for 33 years. I think the main thing, two-part question, is the idea of deferred payments been around for decades. I remember when I got into business, scraping for film jobs, and they're like, well, you will get paid this rate when the movie makes money.
Yeah.
And that was it was a common thing back then. And then the common thread would be you never hear from them again.
It didn't make any money.
And then you see it like, one of the most successful horror movies of all time, and they're like, wait, that was a deferred bill, deferred contract. I never saw any money. And then you start asking questions. Well, on paper, we didn't make any money. So my question is, who shows if the movie makes money? Like, who's deciphering that?
So, yes, share. So basically, everything, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Upwork or Fiverr, and how there's freelancers on these platforms, and they work, all the transactions still have to go through the platform. So one of the things that we do is to protect the filmmaker. It's like everything, every investment, every payment. So let's say you come on, you have a project, you make your project, you have a small crew, and $300,000, but you end up making $650 or whatever on Hulu. All of those deals have to come through us, because every crew member that signed up on our platform to share in your project, whether they took a lower rate or their full rate for their labor, we have to make sure that Hulu doesn't give you the check, because you could just leave the country and no one gets paid on that. So all the crew members that are on your project will get an email. Hey, there's money in your wallet, this happened, blah, blah, blah. With those type of contracts in the past, where you sign up, you get the deferred payment, so the 50%, the investors get their money back first, and then whatever is left over is, split. Those deals are typically still the same type of formats we're gonna use, but it's also gonna be different, because we're dealing with a lot of independent filmmakers. And like Christopher Nolan, his first film, he just got a group of friends together, they shot every Saturday, nobody had money. Our idea is to say, whether you have a budget, low budget, no budget, come here, negotiate all of this, because we have a legal team. And before we even started this, just so you guys know, we're with Oric Law, and the first thing we did with their tech division is like, is this even possible? Like, how can this legally work? And he's like, look, Fiverr, Upwork, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just doing something different in a different industry. But it does work, and you just, all those legalities will be terms and conditions that people have to sign, but it does have to come, we have to keep it in our home, and we will now be liable for that because we have to make sure that everyone gets paid. We can't trust filmmakers to take money and keep running, you know.
Second part of the question is, now correct me if I'm wrong, there's two ways to invest. You can invest money into a project, or you can invest your time into a project. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So as a project creator, you could join share. You could put your project on the platform. And let's say your uncle gave you $200,000. You could say, we got this much, but because this is low budget, we have a back-end points calculator. So every crew member that you add to the platform, you'll be able to put how many points that you'd like to distribute. And then, you know, it's low budget. So if I'm a crew person, let's say I'm a gaffer and I want to join, I could submit myself if it's a public project, because you have the choice to do that too. You could keep it private and you can go and look for your crew yourself so no one knows, or you can make it public and people in that area can know all about your project and submit to you, right? So they submit to you, hey, I'm this, you're like, hey, great, you know, this is wonderful. If you have funding, you don't need to do an equity crowdfunding campaign. If you don't, you can have a link on your project that says we're looking for people to invest. We're not doing the regular antiquated crowdfunding. It's more of the equity, and we've actually partnered with WeFunder. We actually had a call with them, and verbally they're like, we're in, and we'll give your filmmakers a discount. So we're looking to try to, you know, help people invest in that way too. So
Thank you very much. I think it's great.
yeah, of
Thank
course.
you. There's one over here as well. It's hard to see, so when you raise your hand, wave your fingers too.
It's this gentleman
There we go.
over here on the right.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
Hi.
Hi, Anthony DeMarbier. Worked in studio finance, post-production, development, also in video games most recently. I've been following producer Patrick actually for a while. Watched pretty much every one of your videos. Very informative. My question is, let's say hypothetically that there is another production company out there that was running a similar model to this, and they were doing a blockchain smart contract model. And they were looking for extra crew members, like depending on if they're doing a location shoot, let's say in Las Vegas or Chicago, would that company be able to do the same thing like for a slate itself, or is it just for individual projects and individual creators?
Yeah, if they come on the if any project that's on the share platform, like when you sign up for it, you have to agree to profit share. So unfortunately, if there's an outside production company that has a project, but they're not planning to share in the profits with all of their crew members, they can't bring that project to us and try to, you know, or get filmmakers from our platform to staff their, you know, their project, because our whole philosophy is that everyone that works shares in the profit. So they could go to Mandy or staff me up and try to find that, or they could change their philosophy and put their project on the platform and, you know, break down the equity that way and you know, find their crew and, you know, staff the project that way. But no, we really can't, we are planning not to do that because it gets messy. And our whole idea and philosophy and our mission is just really everybody makes money till the end of time, as long as the project makes money. So unfortunately, a production company wouldn't be able to do that.
That's a good question.
Oh.
Leo, will you pass that?
My name is Isaac Rodriguez, emergency room technician, aspiring actor, aspiring writer. Thank you for this. This is awesome. Patrick, I've been following you. I
Thanks.
appreciate you reaching out to your audience. We wouldn't know about this if you hadn't reached out to us. I'm kind of piggybacking on what they asked. About 100 years ago, you had 3 actors, Pickford, Fairbanks, Chaplin, who started United Artists because they wanted to be creators. You're doing something similar many years later. How do you keep your identity when the big studios come in and see you're successful and want a piece of this and continue to do this with your fellow actors, your fellow creators?
that's the way that we do it is really our community. We have like it's funny because we had someone come to us. I don't even know because we've been working so long if it was this year or last year, but they offered us money, big check to take the company, and they were gonna, you know, they had ideas and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, at the time, I could have used the money. You know, I was like, well, and they're trying to be filmmakers, but their energy and their goals were just like completely just off. And the idea that they had about like power, just kind of all of us were like, no, hell no, like no. And we want to grow this and do actually something in the industry. So yeah, if Sony, and they're gonna do it. I mean, think about Netflix, you guys, right? Netflix came around, they actually went to Blockbuster and got turned down, okay? And but what did they do? They served their consumer and they said, listen, you know what, everyone's dealing with late fees and people are, you know, spending $400 on late fees. We got something. We're gonna make sure there's no late fees. And screw Friday night running to Blockbuster, standing in line, hoping your thing is there. We're gonna put it in your mailbox, right? They did that. The consumer, the person they're serving actually was like, this is great, okay, wonderful. They started to build their platform that way, and then once they got successful, then they started doing original content, and that changed the game. But right after that, some of the same stockholders in Blockbuster who are in the studio system, they all jumped on the streaming, you know, bandwagon. And like you've seen in a lot of his videos. Okay, sorry. You've seen in a lot of his videos how the bet they made on that, it broke the industry in a way because everyone tried to do what was happening. So people are gonna try to do share, I'm sure. They're gonna all, I mean, actually, Mark Ruffalo just did a project and he shared in the profits. Domingo Coleman just did one. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had artist equity. So people, the artists are already starting to see why this is important. The studios won't see it, but when they come calling, it's really important for our community to say, no, we're over here because this is, you guys are, we have to all kind of be strong together. Right. And we have to kind of stick together. We can't, you know, and that's what I tell everyone, like, just join for free. Even while we're still building, just join, tell everyone you know, like, I would be happy as hell if this was like some big ass movement where like 100,000 people joined to show Hollywood like a big, you know, middle finger and just say like, we are taking control. We're not gonna sit back anymore and wait for you to greenlight or wait for you to tell us that our projects are good. We can actually fund it, and then after we make it, we can find ways to support the distribution. So it's just the constant flow. It's an economy that keeps moving. But.
And imagine if you take the world's greatest storytellers and you allow them to just kind of run free. I mean, the idea, you know, Netflix and all, you know, the streamers, you know, they produce occasionally some good stuff, but, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff out there. And they own, to your point earlier, they own all of it. And what if you made something that was so outstanding, the streamers just couldn't look away? They're like, damn, I want that, and I'm gonna pay for that. And that's really sort of the leverage that we want to gain back.
And also just remember that in every situation, like we said, the industry is right now at a reset. It's the best time to really jump in and get things done when you're at a reset button, because there's so many people out there now that can drive their own cars the way they want to go. And we all talked about that in the beginning when we sat down. We said, hey, we know they're going to be knocking at our door going, hey, it's just like Tesla came in there and took over gasoline, right? A lot of people was making money on gasoline. When Tesla came in there, Elon said, I'm going to do this. I'm pretty sure he had to say, okay, I'm going to work with you. We said the same thing. We said, we know they're going to come at us, but at the end of the day, we're going to sit down and talk to them and say, hey, we want to include you, like she said. We want the unions. We want the unions involved in this. We don't want to sit up on top of the hill, but we want to say, hey, we have creators that want to take back what's rightfully ours. Art, making art. We're artists.
Let's get 2 more questions. Let's go all the way in the back because I can't see, and I know we should hit on this side as well if we can.
So where?
Anyone on this side?
There's a few hands up there.
There's my man right here. I see. Okay.
Thank you, guys. My name is Hunter Singewald. I do like line producing, AD, UPM, but I'm also a musician, which has also, that industry has gone through its own rebirth and reset with the various laws passed and strikes. Same thing, right? And I guess my question is, like, do you guys see, like, are there any lessons learned or strategies that have worked for some of these other industries that have reset, that we could sort of adapt, obviously, with share and profit sharing, which music has already always sort of done? Just, are there any lessons learned or strategies that we could sort of take into this kind of future of the film industry?
I mean, you can see it already with Angel Studios. If you're familiar with Angel Studios, they have 300,000 investors, and they are killing it at the box office right now. And they are solely an independent studio that is making their own content by equity sharing, equity crowdfunding. So the music industry, you know, to your point, has taught a lot of lessons. There is a blueprint, but you know what? It's historically, you can look to it, but you know, you shouldn't let that be your crystal ball of exactly how things are going to pan out, because you know, the power really is in our hands. And I think the power is really to be proactive at this point, because you have these, like I said, you have these gatekeeper studios that right now they're down for the count. You know, they've got cable channels that are weighing them down. They can't invest the money that they would like to, because unfortunately the old systems of broadcasting, of cable networks, is literally anchoring them. So right now, imagine like a boxer that has like a bunch of weights on them and they can't quite climb up, and we're just putting on our boxing gloves and about to get into the ring.
And speaking of music, that is something that we're absolutely including, because we feel like music and movies go hand in hand. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but when I think of Boomerang, I just hear End of the Road in my head, or Titanic, I hear Celine Dion. And I think a lot of directors got their start making music videos. And so there's another opportunity there. Like, you don't just have to do the Spotify, SoundCloud. Like, imagine joining and finding a director to shoot your music video and then monetizing that video. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be easy, but as long as we can provide a platform and the tools to help you get there, it's up to you, like he said, to be proactive and get out there and find someone. Like, you know, you're a musician. If you check out, you know, some directors and you're like, oh, this guy did horror and this song is dark, let me shoot in my project. You can actually submit directly to people on the platform. It's not about, like, on Mandy, you gotta submit a resume. On Share, your profile is your resume. So people see exactly what you got going on. And similar to LinkedIn, like, we don't want it to be some, like, you know, negative, you know, Craigslist, or even like IMDb. So LinkedIn, you can only receive endorsements, you know, and the more endorsements you have, the more people know, you know, how legit you are anyway. So we're working on all that. I think there's a hand back there.
I would love it. I would love it if we had a woman that had a question. We had a lot of men.
There's one right over here.
All right.
I saw somebody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well done. Well said.
Yes, yes. You get it. Thank you so much.
No.
No.
What's your
Thank you
name?
so
Introduce yourself. We're a community here.
I know that voice. We chatted. Yeah.
Yeah, we all are. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
We got two more. One here and then one up where the light is.
I'm the requested female.
Yes.
Although she's a female.
Sorry, fellas. We got to get the ladies. Yeah.
She is. My name is Paulina Williams, and I am a reality showrunner, executive producer, creator, and all of that. One thing I want to say is that anybody who said they were an aspiring something, don't put aspiring on it. Just say you are.
Yes.
You just are. We all are, right? My question about all this, which I absolutely love, I'm totally into the sharing thing, and every time I run into people, some of my colleagues who are reeling, because Patrick and I come from the same world, they're devastated. They don't know how to get out of what's going on right now. And when I say, we should do something together, we should collaborate, why don't we do it together, and together we can get out of it, they won't do it. Yep. They sit there and they're devastated and they say, thank you, good luck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till the Titanic comes back up. It's the weirdest feeling.
I mean,
and this is the first time I have. This is the first time I've been in a room full of people with hope and wanting to do something about it.
Oh my God, that makes me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And this is the best thing. I'm so glad that you stood up, and I'm glad you called out a woman, because we've had these conversations. I've been in this industry for over 20 years, and when I first had this idea, I went to some of my friends who were at Netflix, and I'm like, you guys, we can do this. Let's go. And it's taken me a long time, and I'm like, I know I told you about this last year, but we're finally gonna launch. Let's go. And you would be surprised how like so many people, friends who just weren't even like, what are we doing? Let's go. Like, it's like, I don't know how to, you know, like Patrick, we just met this spring, summer, and like, yeah, and I've known you for years, but like, just on our meetings, we've had incredible meetings where we're ideas, and he's like, what are we doing? Let's go, let's go. I'm like, if everyone had this energy,
right,
we could change the entertainment industry. But we gotta get together and do something. So that's why I'm telling everyone, you know, I'm asking, like, just join. You don't have to pay anything. We gotta build it. We gotta get the projects on there. I mean, I would love for you to be a pro, but
Yeah.
still, just.
Yeah.
Create it together. So
Yeah.
sorry, I just
Yes.
there's so much positivity happening. I just don't want people to get so negative.
No, and to Paulina's point, you know, I don't think for the people that I know, not necessarily it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Some of them are just like, what's next? Nobody knows what the next step is. And what Share does is it offers so many filmmakers that next step. Like, okay, you know, because everybody feels lost. And I think everybody is kind of like, which way is up? Where is this industry heading? I think it's the number one question that I get on social media is like, what's next? And I say, well, you know what we could do is we could try. You know, it's worth taking a swing, because you know, you don't know if you can't at least try to like set the groundwork for whatever Hollywood 2.0 is going to be. And that starts, I believe, with Share.
I love what you guys are doing. What's the difference between Share and Legion M, which is pretty much this concept of 10 years ago and it's never taken off?
Oh, yeah, because Legion M has you, which is great. Actually, WeFunder started their campaign, and I think they raised like 11 million on WeFunder. They hit their cap. This is actually what one of the WeFunder executives told us. And so they sent them over to start Engine. The difference is that WeFunder is allowing to invest in their films, and when the film comes out, you do, like, I guess, in their company. These are independent. These are, all of those projects, excuse me, are all under the Legion M Films umbrella. These are independent projects that you control. So when you join Share and you have a project and you get your crew and you make it, it has nothing to do with us. We do take our 5%, but any money that you make with your project, you take that project. And if you sell it to Netflix and you sell it for $5 million or whatever, yes, it comes through us. We take our percentage, and then you and your crew get paid. Legion M Films has been raising money with equity crowdfunding for their projects and their company. We want to put the power back in your hands for your projects. So that's the difference there.
I also think there's more marketing that needs to be made. Legion M has
Oh, yeah.
an idea, but
Yeah.
you need the eyes and attention of
Yes.
those who make money.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I come in.
Oh, yeah. So down here.
We were
this-
waiting for that question.
Yeah. So this is a global marketing executive over here. I mean, he's been at Google, Lyft. I mean, he's one of our marketing advisors, and he's also a really good friend. And he was one of the first people that I went to talk about this idea. And one of the things, Patrick called me and Rachel about a month ago, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing? Early in the morning, I gotta talk to you guys. I did a panel, and you guys gotta hear this. What's going on? And one of the things he revealed to us is that, like, big brands are now getting into investing into television and film. Because now when you have YouTube and you can skip the ads and you're on Peacock, no one's really watching.
Commercials are dead.
They're dead. So now they want their product through the film, through the commercial, through the short film, through the series or whatever. And
Right,
I'll let
yeah.
you speak.
Oh, yeah, a lot of brands, and this was about a month ago, I was on a panel, and a lot of it was executives at their studios or networks, just kind of like, and what's the most scary part was somebody asked SVP at a major network, and they were like, well, what are you guys doing for younger generations and younger demographics for, to watch your network? And the executive, I shit you not, my kids aren't here, I can say that. He said, I don't really have an answer for that. And in front of an entire room that was maybe 3 times this audience. But also within that same panel, there was another discussion about branding opportunities. And brands, they want in. They just don't know how to get in. They want to tell stories. Brands know their brands really, really well. But what they don't know is how to put their brand and tell a story with it. That's where we come in. And where Share has that opportunity is, there might be L'Oreal, and it might be looking for a female director, and they want us to do a story about female empowerment. But, they go on Share, and that project is there. And they say, hey, I want to team up with you. So I think we're also working to get brands involved so they can find these projects. And again, cutting out the middleman of the studio, the brands go and invest directly with the project and filmmakers.
And if you create your project on Share and you just start to build your crew and it's public, and then you start your equity crowdfunding, and brands are able to see a lot of people are supporting it and liking it, I think they're more privy to want to invest.
It's no different than in sports, right? They started with the big Michael Jordans and LeBron James, and now they're going to college, and then they're going to high school, and they're starting to understand that if they get in early, they start to invest early, then you can grow up with the same people. So it's the same thing that's happening in films.
Don't
I
be
think we have one
afraid.
last question up here, and then let's.
And before she starts, don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of change in Hollywood. Don't be scared. What's on the other side of fear? Nothing. You'll never know what it is if you don't try it. But we'll go spend money on other stuff. Just try it. See what it is. And if you love the art, this is what it's all about.
And I'm sorry, I got to take this because also too, when you hear the door closing when things aren't working, you just never know what's around the next corner. And with Indie Night, I have a great story really quick. Joel Taylor, director of They Cloned Tyrone and Space Jam 2, he had submitted his short film to every film festival. No one accepted it, right? Then he submits it to Indie Night. He comes, he plays the video, the short film, everyone loves it, and then you finish that.
Yeah, because when he brought this film, I looked at it and I said, oh, this kid is incredible. He came out of USC. And then I told him, I called one of my colleagues, Datari Turner, who's exec over at Foxhole Production. I said, you got to come down here and host Indie Night this week. I want you to see this film. He came down and saw this film, and he said, this kid is good. Now, this happened on Saturday. On Monday, took him to CAA, got him signed. Right? He wrote Creed 2. This all happened in a 3-year span. Then he wrote Space Jam 2. Right? Then he came back to me. He's like, Dave, I got a bidding war with the studios for this film, and I want to direct it. I was like, ooh, that's kind of hard to be the first-time director for an A-lister. You know what I'm saying? So they say. He says, no, I could do this. I could do this. We ended up doing it. They cloned Tyrone with Jamie Foxx, right? And now the kid is writing the next Star Wars. It's happened in 3 years. Joel Taylor, look it up. But what I'm saying is there's opportunities out there that people don't realize. You guys just go ahead and do it. Because we've shown so many films, and I didn't even say it because this one even caught me off guard, because I showed a film and it got a standing ovation, right? And what we normally do is we bring the writers and directors and everybody down, and we said, now let's bring down a director. 14-year-old boy shot a nice film on his iPhone. And I said, look at this. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. You know what you got to do? Change with the times. And sometimes we get stuck and understand it's okay. The industry's changing, but you got to change with it. And understand that here at Shares, we have something where you can create, and that's what you all want to hear. That's what we all want to do. You want to act, you want to direct, you want to write, then we'll give you a platform to do that. And make money.
And I think one of the lessons I think many of us have learned in working in this business, and I've worked in it for 20 years, is no one's going to hand it to you. I think that's the truth of the matter.
Go get
you
it.
have to go get it.
Go get it. Last question up top, where the light was with Rachel.
And very humbling times, but you've been such a great voice to help a lot of people who told me that you're so freaked out. And by just being honest, thank you, just being honest and giving real information every day, and of course in such a great platform as TikTok, is really so helpful. I was also an executive vice president at Warner Brothers for quite a few years. Went to the dark side and really have a sense of what it's like from the studio side as well. I think what you guys have been talking about up here, and I really wanted to come here today when I heard about this, is truly a revolution. Thank you so much for creating Share, and revolutions are followed by renaissance. And I really think that this is the model of the future. There's no doubt about it. And that time is done for the very few to be deciding when we get to do the jobs that we love to do. Like,
Yes.
we're gonna just do them. We need to all participate in them. And the art that works and that floats to the top, the audience will decide. And that new system is going to be beautiful. So thank you for giving so much positivity. And I know I needed this today, and thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to our panelists. Thank you to everybody who came out today.
And thank all of you guys for
Really
coming out and
appreciate
spending
you
time
all.
with us.
There's a step and repeat outside. We want to
Yes.
meet you. We want to talk to you. This is not just a presentation. We hope to build community with you all. We hope to maintain this relationship with you all. So please introduce yourselves. Let's mingle. Let's meet. Let's get a drink.
Yeah, there's
in
a
the
bar
lobby.
out there. We have the space
Amen.
for another 30.
And as they say at the
Go get a drink
movies,
now.
that's
Thank you,
a
guys.
wrap.
You're right.